You're here, you've planned and saved for years, and you're finally at Tokyo Disney Resort. The best Disney resort in the world! Whoa! Ooh, whoa! Oh, If you're looking at a trip to Tokyo Disney, you're going to have an amazing time and make some very special memories. It's a one-of-a-kind resort, and DisneySea will leave any theme park fan with their jaw on the floor. I'm sure you can feel it coming though.
There's a great big but, and I cannot lie.
Before I moved to Tokyo, I came to Tokyo Disney Resort on holiday. I'd been to every other Disney park around the world, and I was so excited to finally go to the one that many say is the best of them all. But honestly, there were a few things we did that almost ruined our visit. Nobody deserves to spend all that money coming here and make these silly mistakes. And that's why I want to share with you the things that I wish I knew before I came to Tokyo Disney Resort, including one really simple thing that I've seen some pretty big YouTubers do a lot when they come here, which could be the difference between having the greatest trip of your life and an overwhelming nightmare. The Disney Parks guests here are probably the most knowledgeable and devoted of any in the world, and this passion, along with the Japanese tendency to be early, results in the majority of guests arriving at the parks very early, like 2 hours before the park opens kind of early. It doesn't help that despite the parks saying they open at 9 AM, they actually start letting guests in somewhere between 8:15 and 8:45. So if you arrive at 8:50 thinking you're beating the crowds, you'll get a shock when you see that the park is already full of people. I actually knew this before visiting the first time and thought that by doing the opposite and turning up late, I'd be super smart because all the other guests would leave early. They did not leave early. Especially with the parks currently closing at 9 PM every day, use jet lag to your advantage and get to the gates well before the park opens to really make the most of your day. Another thing to be aware of is that Tokyo Disney have really amazing maintenance of their attractions, which is wonderful as all the rides look brand new and downtime is really rare. However, this does come at a cost. Rides frequently have scheduled closures, but don't worry, there's a simple way to be aware of this. On the Tokyo Disney website, go to the attractions page and scroll all the way to the bottom to see temporary closures. Here you'll see the exact dates of any closures planned for the next year or so. There are times when multiple big rides are closed at the same time, so if you take one thing away from this video, it's to check before booking your trip. You'll be glad that you did. Now you're in the gates and you're ready to get to your favorite ride. Cast members are saying no running, but you're so excited and you want to make the most of getting there early, so you walk briskly and then notice something. Everyone has stopped and they're looking at their phones. So, as with many Disney parks now, you really need to be using the app to get the most out of your visit. The TDR app can be quite confusing, so make sure you're subscribed to this channel so you can find this video again when you need it. You can use the app to buy your park tickets, but normally foreign credit cards don't work very well, so you'll probably buy your tickets from a different website, and then you can scan the QR code from those into the app, and then you can use the app as your ticket, although I would keep a paper copy just in case. If you scroll down, you'll see Disney's Premier Access. This can be used to skip the queues for the most popular rides, or get reserved seating for entertainment such as parades at Disneyland and the nighttime show at DisneySea. You can see a list of every attraction with DPA on the screen now. You have to pay individually for each queue skip, so if you want to skip the queues on Beauty and the Beast and Splash Mountain, you'll have to buy 2 separate DPAs for each ride. Unless you're on a shoestring budget, I'd really recommend getting these for the most popular rides if those are important to you, as well as for Believe Sea of Dreams, the nighttime show at DisneySea. The parades at Disneyland are quite easy to get a good view of without DPA, as, you know, parades travel through the whole park. You'll want to get any DPAs that you do want to buy as soon as you go through the gates, as they can run out, especially for Believe Sea of Dreams. Next, there's the 40th Anniversary Priority Pass, which is a bit of a mouthful. If you're familiar with the Fast Pass system that used to be here and other parks, this is basically the same thing. Included in your admission price, you can use the app to reserve a time at a ride, and then when you come back at that time, you skip the queue. You can use this multiple times a day completely free, with you able to make a new reservation 2 hours after the last one, or when you've used your last one, whichever is sooner. As you can probably tell from the name, the parks are making a very big deal about this being for the 40th anniversary, so I think there's a very good chance it will end on April 15th, 2024, possibly to be replaced by something similar, maybe with an extra fee, so do check the latest information. Next is the Standby Pass. You can probably ignore this one. It was used a lot during COVID, but now it's basically only used in one of two situations: when there's new merch in the shops or when it's a character's birthday. Both of these things might sound a little bit strange, but here they're a big deal and they draw huge crowds. So basically the system is just to make sure that there aren't too many people clogging up the queues or the shops. Similar to the Priority Pass, it is a free system in which you make a reservation to come back later. Unless you're trying to get some brand new merch on release day or trying to see Mickey on his birthday, you probably don't need to worry about this one. Next is Entry Request, which is a lottery-style system used for the indoor theater shows at both parks. It's very unlikely that you will win a seat, but it's free to enter. So as soon as you get through the entrance, you may as well tap this button, choose the show, and cross your fingers and hope that you can get in. The others are pretty self-explanatory, so I won't go into them here, but if you'd like a full video going through how to use the app in detail, then let me know in the comments. I'd recommend getting some data or using a portable Wi-Fi router on your trip to Japan, because it's not very easy to find Wi-Fi in public places here. And the parks do offer free Wi-Fi, but it's only in a very specific area near the entrance at each park, so whilst you can use it to get your passes once you get in, it'll be really hard to take advantage of the app throughout your day without having data. Okay, we're in the park, we've tried the lotteries, it's time to get on some rides. When you're waiting for the rides, you may see people pushing past you in the queue, often without even saying anything. This is quite common in Japan, and they're usually genuinely meeting up with a group, so it's best to just go along with it. You've probably heard that TDR has some of the best rides in the world, and that's absolutely true. From the magical retelling of the classic story in Enchanted Tale of Beauty and the Beast, to the epic and exciting Journey to the Center of the Earth, to the mesmerizing joy of the unique story in Sinbad's storybook Voyage, there is a lot to be excited about. However, there were a couple of things that left me a little bit disappointed. But if I knew what to expect, I would have had an amazing time. So I don't consider what I'm about to say to be spoilers, it's really just adjusting your expectations accordingly so you won't be disappointed, and you can just love the rides for what they are. But if you really want to go into the rides completely blind, then skip to the time on screen right now. Journey to the Center of the Earth is kind of short. Soaring, Toy Story Mania, and Tower of Terror have amazing queues and pre-shows, but the rides are very similar to the other versions, with Tower of Terror actually being considerably worse, with a very short ride cycle and over-the-shoulder seatbelts which stop you from getting that fun jumping out your seat feeling. Beauty and the Beast is slow and almost verges on boring sometimes, and Pooh's Honey Hunt skips out the flooding part of the story from the other rides, so it can feel like it ends a bit abruptly if you're used to those. Pirates is better than Florida, but not as good as California, and Haunted Mansion is a bit dated at parts. Snow White and Peter Pan's Flight are pretty short, but delightfully nostalgic. Okay, now that that's done, you've done some rides, time for that cute and quirky Tokyo Disney food you saw on Instagram, and oh my goodness, there's an hour-long queue for churros. The food queues are actually not as bad as they used to be, but it's still worth being aware that guests here will queue for food, with the general idea being that the long wait makes the food more worth it. Shops also fall victim to this, with many guests prioritizing shopping over all other aspects of their time in the parks, so be sure to allow plenty of time if either of these things are important to you. Once you're in the shops, you'll see some pretty fun stuff. These change very often, so if you've seen something online or on another guest, there's no guarantee that you'll actually be able to buy it. This is the same with the food too, but don't worry, you'll still be able to get the LGM mochi. Whilst different shops do sell different things, don't expect things to vary too much. You can basically get an idea of 99% of the merch in the park by just going in the big shops at the entrance. Entering Mysterious Island and wanting to buy some Center of the Earth or 20,000 Leagues merch from the shop? No, they don't have any of that. Just rode Tower of Terror and want to grab something from the gift shop? No. Ridden Sinbad and fallen in love with Chandu the Tiger? Actually, there is some pretty good Chandu merch. And also, I sell some in my shop. Hehe. Okay. You've done some great rides, had some unique food, and bought some merch, and it's 10 minutes until the park closes. Time to get in the queue for your favorite ride. Oh, it's already closed? Sadly, due to cast members commuting by train and not being able to get home easily, if it's too late, the park doesn't follow the system used by every other Disney park in the world of closing the queues at the park closing time. Rides will close if the length of their queue is longer than the time until park close. So for example, if the park closes 9, which it is every day right now, and Splash Mountain has a 1-hour queue at 8 PM, they'll close it at 8 PM. Rides that have a 15 to 5 minute wait usually do close at the park closing time, but it's definitely best to hop in a queue if you see it open rather than wait around and risk it. Okay, after getting your last rides, time to spend whatever yennies you have left in the shops. Oh, that one's closed already. Okay, well the ones on Main Street won't be closed. Oh, they're closed too. Yeah, it's not just the rides that close early. If you're like me and you like to hang around in the park doing your shopping as late as possible, you'll notice that they want you to get out of the park a lot more quickly than the other Disney parks. The biggest shops right next to the entrance will be open for 30 minutes to an hour after the park close, and the Bon Voyage shop near the train station, which sells a lot of the stuff you can find in the parks, always closes at 10 PM, so you can get a bit of shopping done. But if you see something you want to buy during the day, it's best to just grab it when you can. I really don't like to complain about Tokyo Disneyland, and I hope you're all taking this the right way, because if you're planning a trip, you will have an incredible time, but I just feel like there were a few things that I really wish someone had told me before I went, and that's what I'm telling you. If you want to hear about all the things that make Tokyo Disneyland so great, then watch this video.